Hey FlossTube, it's Kim the 303 Stitcher here on YouTube and Instagram, and welcome to my 2025 end of year WIP parade. It is December 31st, 2025. Happy New Year. I did not get to lock Tori away, my cat, so she has, as you can see, piles and piles of things to play on, so she will probably be making a ruckus here very soon. She's full of energy tonight, so we'll see how things go. I'm just gonna make a quick adjustment. Okay. So I've got things everywhere. I have my notes here, but I'm not doing this in any particular order, so it might be a little chaotic, but here we go. So this year I did a total of 205,000 stitches, and that is an average of 561 stitches a day. Now, mind you, I did not stitch every day. There were definitely days that work life just didn't allow me to do that. So I think that that's a pretty good chunk of stitching this year. And I had a total of 30 WIPs, and I had 4 finishes. I have unzipped everything. Unfortunately, I don't have one of the finishes. I showed it, I think, on my last floss tube, or maybe it was a few floss tubes ago. I know I finished it in like October. It was Treasures of the Sea. It is at the Framers. It's actually been at the Framers since November-ish, and so I'm hoping to have that back within the next couple of weeks, so come back for my next update, and I'm hoping to have it then. So but yeah, so my finishes this year, so I finished, this is the Castle, I think this was Fabulous House Series number 2 from Cottage Garden Samplings, and that is the finish. This is all the called for. So the called for fancy floss. This is the called for fabric, which is 40 count linen prehistoric. I'm stitching it 1/2 full cross. So yeah, that was one of my finishes this year. My other finish this year was Aphrodite Mermaid by Mirabilia. So there she is in all her glory. Yeah, she was fun, and she was pretty. Well, she is pretty. So I need to take her to probably to the Framer next, and figure out what I'm gonna do with her. So that was my first Mira. I did her skin 1/1. Everything else is stitched over 2, 2/2 with all of the called fors, and then of course you have all of her pretty beads. So yeah, that was a fun finish. One of my beads I just noticed is actually flipped over. I'll have to fix that later. As I'm fiddling with it. There. So yeah, I'm gonna put her over here and hopefully keep Tori out of it, who's already looking at all of the dangly bits on my bags. And then my last finish actually was this evening. So my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law had a baby about a year ago, just over a year ago, and they just bought a house, and for his first birthday in September, they were saying, hey, no gifts, like we don't really want anything. And so I've been waiting for them to move into their house, which they still haven't, and they bought it in November. I think they're busy renovating and stuff, and doing a lot of it themselves. So I decided they're getting a little bit closer. They're now painting, I think, and stuff's going in. So as far as like countertops and stuff like that. So I went ahead and finished this. This is for my nephew. Yeah. So this was just a little quick stitch that I did, and I really liked. It was fast, and it has all of his stuff, and I thought it would be a cute little housewarming gift for them. And that is in this awesome, like strawberry, like really pretty, like Grand Toten bag. Yeah, so now I have another bag that I can find something else to do with. And then, like I said, the other finish I don't have, but I'll show it on my next regular update, or maybe 2 updates from now, whenever I get it back. I did gift it to my mother-in-law for Christmas. That was the whole plan. And so I just like printed off a picture and kind of gave it to her and explained what it was. So yeah. If I have pictures, I will insert them. I won't lie and tell y'all that I have like starting pictures from the beginning of the year, because I don't think I do. I've really kind of come back into FlossTube over the last couple months, really with more oomph, and so I don't remember taking any pictures from last year, and honestly I just don't have the time or the energy to go through and just watch all of my videos, like my end of year whip parade from last year, to like screenshot stuff. So you're just gonna see it as is, but I did take pictures for next year, so I actually threw them all into a Google Drive folder, so we will be in a much better position for the end of 2026. Yeah, so I'm just gonna get going. I do have a lot of my stuff in these types of bags, so I did unzip all of them already, but just know, again, with Tori being out, I am gonna shove things back in. I won't re-zip them if I remember. So Kristen, sorry if there's crinkling. And to anybody else who's sensitive, it's just, I know my best friend is. So without further ado, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. This year I did have 7 new starts, 8 new starts, because I forgot to count this one. And yeah, so this is, I started this next to Mirabilia. This is Princess Ileana. And I started this at the Queen City Stitch Retreat back in October. That's all the further that I got on her, but look at how pretty, you can really see that fabric. Look at how pretty that fabric is. It is opalescent. It is Mystic Fabrics, and it's Wisteria. This is a 32 count opal. I'm stitching this 2/2 full cross, and with all the called for. And I just realized as I was coming in to record this that I can't find this pattern. I know that when I came home, I did a little bit more stitching on it, and I made like took a picture of it so that way I can use it in GoodNotes. I'm sure it's somewhere, it's chaos, you know how the holidays are, and I'm sure it just got shifted somewhere and I just can't find it. So yeah, that's what I started for my next Mira. I have some other plans for that, but this is not a plans situation, so we aren't going to talk about that. And then the next one that I have, and I did not count stitches on paper patterns. I tend not to count stitches, especially since I was at a retreat on that one. So I don't know, it might have a couple hundred stitches on it. That is not included in the tally for this year. However, this one is, and this is Magic. This is, I call it Magic, but it says Everything is Better with a little magic, and this is by Stitch Rovia. Again, if I have pictures, like finished pictures, I'll show them, and if not, I'll probably go in and edit and at least put in like the full picture of what this is supposed to look like. So this is where we're at on this, and I added a total of 1,595 stitches to this. So yeah, I did. I'm pretty sure I finished everything, and then I started, this is the pinkish letters down there are as where it says better. So I am stitching this on, it doesn't have a tag, but I do know this is called Skyfall, and this is by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. I believe it's a 32 count because it's the club that I was in for them. Might be a 28 now that I'm looking at it. I think actually it's a 28, and it is a linen. So I'm stitching this 2/2 with all of the called for DMC, and I did the dark version of this one because I really like this fabric and I felt like it was perfect for it. So I did try to take everything out of Q-snaps that were in Q-snaps that were more than a page. If it's in a Q-snap, it's because what I've done is not outside of that Q-snap. The next project that I'm going to show you all is Saga. So I do have a very mangled picture of Saga. Maybe in 2026 I'll reprint everything. So this is what Saga is gonna look like when it's done. If y'all want to see what it looks like when it's fully done, Judy, in Aussie and Kiwi go traveling together. It used to be an Aussie and a Kiwi world. She finished it, and I believe she showed it on her channel. If not, she definitely showed it on in her Facebook group. I'm stitching this with Silk for You. This is PR 107, I believe. So I just did this like full hank of it, and I'm just kind of hacking away at it as I need it. Yeah. So for Saga, let's see. I did a total of 6,690 stitches on it, and that's where we are. Oops, outside the frame. Yeah, so I am almost across, I think, the top row of arches. I am stitching this. This is I want to say this is a 32 count. It's on a, oh, there's a tag right here. This is 28 count Lugana in Dusty Cottage by V-Stitch Me. So this was one of her Fabric of the Month clubs. And I'm stitching it 1/1, otherwise it wouldn't fit. Next one is one of my new starts for the year. This is Winter Bonfire Nights. This is by Heaven and Earth Designs. I may have a printout of this one. Let's see. I do. So this one is by Lars Stewart, and that is what it is going to look like when it is done. Jade the 303 I'm the 303 stitcher, Jade the 310 stitcher, and I started this together this year. I did a total of 1,815 stitches. I am stitching this 1/1, and this is on a 25 count. So I started stitching it in the diagonal, and I was parking. I'm still not 100% sure that I like this method. I was doing it on a couple of other projects, and I don't know. That one doesn't have too much confetti right now, to where I'm worried about it. And I do like being, like, as you're stitching on the diagonal, more things are showing up. I'm still just not a fan of parking. So I'm a cross-country stitcher by nature. So we'll see how that one goes this year, and see if I continue on that diagonal with the parking. Okay. Next, let me move stuff over as I'm finishing them. I could probably actually pull up my tablet and start showing you guys stuff. This is a mess today, y'all. Sorry. So I do have my tablet over here that I can show you guys what things look like. Okay. All right, next project that I have, this is All Dogs Go to Heaven 2 by Jim Warren. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs, and I do have a picture of this. I'm just gonna find it on my tablet for you all, maybe. Okay. So this is what this is gonna look like. Again, this is a Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm doing a mini. I started this a few years ago, and I am so embarrassed about my little start because I don't have a whole lot on this. So that's as far as we are right now on this pattern. I am stitching this 25 count. This is 2/1 stitch. I don't have a lot of projects that I'm doing tent stitch on. It was just something that I was trying. I really like 1/1 full, but I have a couple. So that one this year got a total of 3,130 tent stitches. Next project is going to be Temperance. This is by the Witchy Stitcher. This is one of the tarot cards that she did this year, or I think it was over the last like 2 years maybe. This was a new start for me this year too. Sorry about just the picture, and the picture is just, I'm doing this on a canvas, a black canvas, so you can't really, and then I'm using just another patterns thing. So this one's Temperance. I started this back in January, and I just pick it up whenever. It is part of my temperature stitching now, so we'll see if that might get a finish this year. On Temperance, I did a total of 2,327 stitches. I started that on January 20th. This one does not have a finished picture because this is actually a stitch along. It may have one now, but it was a mystery stitch along. This is my first attempt at black work. Also, I did not iron anything, y'all. So if it's wrinkly, sorry, that's just kind of how it is. And this one's super wrinkly. So I have a very sad start to the 2025 stitch along for Peppermint Purple. It is complete now, and so yeah, but this is my first attempt at black work. It's really weird. I actually really like black work, but I hate back stitching. I've heard other floss tubers say that. Somebody explain it to me. Why do I like black work but hate back stitching? Make it make sense. Again, I don't have stats for this one. I didn't like count the stitches or anything like that. I do want to come back to it because I really like it and I have a pretty cool plan for it. So we'll see how that goes. The next one I got this project bag from Deb Walker on Facebook. She's in some of the D-Stash groups and she makes really, really cool bags. So I got this from her last year. And the project that is in this is going to be Welcome to the North Pole. This is by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Obviously this is charted by Lindsay Waite. Well, designed by Lindsay Waite. So that's what it's gonna look like when it's done. It's so cute. I'm doing all of the called for flosses on this, so it's a lot of weeks. It's a lot of Classic Color Works. I think the only DMC is B5200. I did at least just pop off the top because that's really... So this year, the only thing that I added to it actually has been this whole thing here. I think I even had some of this stitched, but so I did tots. I back stitched it because actually that's says toys. Sorry, is you can tell I back stitched it, and because I couldn't really see what it said and I wanted to see how it came out. It also has fractionals, which not a fan of fractionals either. This is why I primarily stitch full coverage. So I'm stitching this, like I said, all the called for, and it is stitched on, let's see, do I still have the tag? I do. It is Macchiato by Be Stitch Me. It's a 28 count Lugana. And I'm stitching it 2/2 full cross. Next project that I have is in the sea turtle bag. I love sea turtles. They are my jam. I also forgot to bring down my really cool Stitch Kindness that I'll just have to show on my next floss tube from Cheryl, but thank you, Cheryl. And for the water bottle, I do have a picture of this. This is fitting. This is Sea Turtle. This is charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. And I don't have the artist's name on who did this. I'm gonna try to make this as not crinkly as possible, putting that back in there. Sea Turtle, let's see. Oh, I didn't tell you how many stitches I did on Welcome to the North Pole. Hold please. North Pole, I added 2,507 stitches to that. Got you. Okay, now Sea Turtle. Yeah. Ta-da! Not much progress. It is so hard stitching this because it is, yeah, it's all background, until you get to the turtle. So, I want to finish this someday. So Sea Turtle got a total of well, there it is, 1,730 stitches. So that is all that that got. That is being done on, this is for sure a 32 count, and it is being stitched 1/1 full cross. Sorry for the crinkles. The next one, so I did touch all of my projects this year, right down to the wire. This is, and I'm not even gonna take it out of the bag. So this was a couple of years ago. Bella Filipina came out and they did a stitch along, sorry for the glare, which was the Mermaids of the Seas and Sow. That's what they all look like when they are done. I am obviously very behind, but so this year I worked on the Summer Mermaid, and by this year I mean within the last 3 days. And so I had like maybe a couple stitches in her hair at the beginning of the year, and then added all of her skin and her hair, finished out her hair and the flowers. So yeah, they're so pretty, and they don't take forever. Even the 1/1 skin that I did, I mean, it was 767 stitches like total that I did with the hair and then all of her skin. It wasn't terrible. They're not very big. They have a lot of beads. Every single hole in her hair that you can see is beads. So I stitch in a Q-snap primarily, so beading will be all the way at the end, but it has, as you can see, I love this shimmer sparkle showing up in the Kreinik. So it's got Kreinik, it has all of the things. So I'm stitching this on the called for fabric, which was called Singing in the Rain. It is by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. I think it's a 28 count. I'm stitching it 2/2 full cross with all of like the DMC and the NC stuff. Next project is Red Panda. So let me pull up Red Panda for you guys. So this is what Red Panda is going to look like when it's done. This is by BDXL Cross Stitch, and the confetti in this is terrible. So there is Red Panda now. We were talking in one of my stitching groups about how I didn't like flipping over and tucking the threads. And so when I was stitching this, I just was leaving the threads on the front and then cutting them once I stitch over in the back. It looks like that my Red Panda has eyelashes, but so this year on Red Panda, I did 1,075 stitches, and that's been all in the ears. So I stitched all the way to the started in the center and stitched all the way up to the top. The thing that drives me nuts about this project is it's literally like 5 of this color over here, and they're all spread out all over the place, and then they're just like 5 over here and spread out all over the place. So it drives me nuts, but I think it's really cute, and hopefully when I finish this, my niece is still into red pandas. So this is on Mystic Fabrics. This was the fabric of the month from February of 2022 called Atypical. This is an opalescent 32 Belfast linen. Let's see if you can get a good sense of that. Oh yeah, there you go. When this first came, y'all, I was like, what the heck am I gonna stitch on that? I was pretty sure this was just gonna sit in my stash forever. Because I mean, it reminds me of like, I grew up in the 80s, and it reminds me of like that couch, like, you know, the couch from the 80s. Everybody had it. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to stitch on that. But as soon as I found this red panda, I was like, boom, perfect. So I really love it on the fabric. Not my favorite pattern to stitch on, which is why it's only got 1,000 stitches. Again, sorry for the crinkling. Next one is going to be Waterhole Master. So this is Max Colors. This is charted by Hade, Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by David Penfound. And that's what it's gonna look like when it's done. Jemima the Rocking Stitcher, I don't think she's doing floss tubes anymore. She finished this, and I think it was a supersized Max Color a couple years ago. So if you want to see what this looks like, it's amazing. And yeah. So this is being stitched on a 28 count. This is being stitched 1/1. I had this idea that I was going to do all of the 310 first. I might be changing that up coming this year. I just was watching Kim Hollenbach's video, and where she was kind of talking about patterns that work really well for color completion in that, and this one just, it doesn't really work that well. There's not a lot of like big like chunks. It doesn't all interconnect. So you can kind of see how far I got though. You can see the giraffe coming in, which is really cool. That's the part this year that I've really worked a lot on, is the giraffe over here. And then over here, you can I kind of put in a couple of stitches, but I believe that the elephant starts coming in here. So, yeah, I might continue just stitching all the way across just so that I can have like options on what I want to stitch on. But we'll see. So that's all 310 stitches. That's 1/1 full cross. And that is, this year I added 2,953 stitches to that. Next project that I have, oops, it's a zipper, hold on. I'm gonna try to do this real gingerly. Okay, this one is Cozy Christmas. This is by Donna Gelsinger. And I'm just pulling it up on my tablet. This is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I told you she was gonna come. Say hi, Tori. Say hi, Mama. This is our kitty. Okay, Cozy Christmas. This is what Cozy Christmas is gonna look like when it's done. Kristen and I started this again, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, Kristen, something like that. I've noticed a couple of things. I don't like trees. I don't like stitching trees. They're terrible. However, we're doing it. I also do not recommend stitching 10 stitch on 32 count, especially in heavy confetti. This was a lesson learned, but also look at that coverage. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, this is a 32 count. This is done 2/1 10 stitch. But the coverage on it is just chef's kiss. Like, look at all that dark. That's 939 and 823, and it's vibing. So I have considered completely ditching this and restarting, but y'all. So we're making it. I found needles that I actually really like that helped me get through this. This year, the section that I worked in has been over here. I haven't gone any further into the tree. So I'm kind of starting to work my way over. But that tree is confetti, nightmare. This year on Cozy Christmas, I did a total of 4,338 tent stitches. And y'all, for me, a stitch is a stitch. I know, like, for the games and stuff that I play, I don't cheat. I do, like, the Facebook games where it's like 2 tent stitches equals 1 full cross. I do count them that way in there, but for my personal tracking, I'm like, a stitch is a stitch and I don't care. So I'm giving you full stitches, whether they're tent or not on this. The next one I have is, so this is Autumn is as Joyful. This is a Lila Studios. And let me just blow that up so you can't see the pattern. That's what it's gonna look like when it's done. I love this one. I did choose the alternate middle for this one because the original middle says Autumn is as joyful and sweet as an untimely end. That seems kind of dark for me. So I changed it to Autumn is a second spring when every leaf is a flower. I like that one a lot better. So I picked this up in 2024 when we did a girls trip to Portland, Oregon. There is a hanging thread on here. I didn't realize that, and I didn't pop off the top part. This is on a 40 count. I want to say it's on an R&R fabric, and I'm stitching it 2/1 full cross. So that's as far as I've gotten. I finished that motif, those leaves up there, and then I think that is a little black cat that is coming in. So yeah, this one I'm gonna pop this back on and try to be quiet. Again, Tori's laying right here watching all of this happen, so sorry, crinkles. Just trying to make it so that I don't have cat claws that are tearing up my projects. Let's see here. Autumn is as Joyful got 1,309 stitches this year. We're making a dent in my pile, y'all. Making a dent. This one is a new start this year. And this one is Starry Starry Gnome. This is by, I have prints. Some. This is by Stitches So Beautiful. It was Adnay L Studio. Here, you can read it yourselves. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. Apparently, I really like 939 and 823. I don't know. I always end up really drawn to like the darker patterns for some reason, which is good because I have cones of both now. So yeah, this gnome, I thought it was just so cute. It was hot cocoa and outside and snowy, which I live in Colorado. I don't know if I mentioned that in my past floss tubes, but just a little thing. It was 71 degrees here on Christmas. We've had like a dusting of snow this year. It's so dry. I'm actually really worried about my neighbors shooting off fireworks tonight because they will. And the part of town that we live in, we like our fireworks. Not me, I don't. But my neighbors, they'll let you know when it's midnight. They'll also let you know when it's 9 p.m. on a random weeknight. So yeah, so that's Starry Starry Gnome. And this is being stitched on I want to say this is a 28 count. And that is all the further I got. I started this on 8/7, so August 7th. I got this for a couple of reasons. First of all, I wanted to do a Stitches So Beautiful. This is not my only Stitches So Beautiful pattern. I actually have a couple of other ones that are just not started yet. And Stitches So Beautiful, I don't know if anybody else is in their Facebook group, but they did the 12 days of Christmas. They just did a whole slew of like freebies every single day leading up to Christmas for Advent. And so that was amazing. Like the patterns, I saved almost every single one of them. There were a couple that I didn't do. And actually, I want to say they did 24 days. I want to say they did it every single day of the month up to Christmas. But there were a couple that I was like, I would never stitch that, so I didn't save them. There were a couple that were very white heavy that I loved, but I was like, yeah, white on white, no thank you. So I saved most of them. But yeah, so also every single month, if you have a Stitches So Beautiful pattern, and you do, I want to say it's 1,000 stitches, so you have to, it's a sal that they do almost monthly. Sometimes they'll skip, sometimes they have one person designer, so they, you know, sometimes have life be lifing, and sometimes we skip it, and that's totally fine because they do it out of the kindness of their heart. But they'll do a sal and they offer charts for participating. So you have to post 250 full stitches or 510 stitches on one of their patterns every week of the month. Their Christmas pattern was, so their December sal was very Grinchy. It was really cute, and I am very excited that I participated in that one. I only participate if I really want the chart though. So like the January chart, I'm kind of going back and forth on. If y'all want to join their Facebook group, go do that. But it's like a treehouse. It's kind of dark, kind of like at night. And like I said, I already have a whole lot of dark charts, and I don't know that I would stitch a treehouse, so I might skip it. So yeah, so that one we did, I think I said it, but maybe not. I started it on August 7th, and I did a total of 2,021 stitches this year on it. Next one, so this one is a fun fact. So this is actually a Grand tote bag. The outside actually is this fabric, but not really my jam. It's kind of vintage Halloween-y, but I liked the inside, so I flipped it inside out. If anybody's like, I don't have that bag, yeah, that's why. You do. It's just inside out. And this was from a couple years ago. However, I have a hard time not finishing things once I start them in general in life. And I am a see it to the end, even if I'm not really 100%. So like books, this year I think was the first year that I actually did a DNF on a book. And I'm learning to give myself permission to not finish things if they don't bring me joy. And this next chart is one of those. I love the chart. I love the fabric, and in its own right, I love the thread that I chose for this. However, it does not work for the pattern. And it's my first time using variegated floss. I'm not sure I know what the heck I'm doing with it. I don't know. It's just not my jam. So this is Halloween Enchanted Quaker. This is by Misty Purcell, aka Luminous Fiber Arts. And it's this pattern, which I love. I mean, it's Halloween. It's fun. It's got all of the Halloween-y things. It's, yeah. And it's like motify, which is one of my favorite things and styles to stitch is the Quakers. The thread that I chose for it is, this is hand dyed by Rolanda. And it was like her like Halloween one. You can't really see. Oh, maybe you can. It's like purple, black, orange. Yeah. It's a cotton, so it's just regular, like probably over dyed DMC. Sorry, crinkles. I can't get the thing out. The fabric that I chose for it was Boneyard by Bestitch Me. It's a 28 count Lugana. So, I mean, spooky and fun. But yeah, that's where we are. And I loved it. Like, it's fun to stitch. It's just, everything is. But look at how weird that witch looks. I don't know if you can kind of see it. That witch be looking a little weird with that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I DNF this? Should I like go ahead and UFO this? Or do you think it looks all right? I'm open. I'm just not sure that I'm really in love with this. Let me know what you think. If you think I should continue it or not. Oh, my Yoshi needle minder. Yoshi's my favorite Mario character. I'm stitching that 2/2 full cross. And that one this year I did a total of 603 stitches. That's how you know it's not my favorite project to work on. Next I have is Winter. This is by the Cricut, the Cross-Eyed Cricut. This is the Cricut collection. I have all of the seasons. And that's what it will look like when it is done. I'm just using DMC, nothing fancy. I think there might be some blending filament, which I started 100%. I don't know if you can, if it's gonna show up or not. No, but it's in the snowflakes there, and then it carries on into the snowman. It's not going to carry on into the snowman because it's like, so you, obviously it's blending filament, so you mix it with like the DMC B5200, I think it is. Yeah, that's a no thank you for me. It is it's not fun to work with. So we're just gonna have a non-sparkly snowman, and I'm okay with that. So I'm stitching this on it's Pewter by Picture This Plus. It's a 32 count linen. I'm stitching it 2/2, and that is where we are. So I think this year all I did was do work on the N. I think everything else was done. Oh, and I did the star at the top of the eye. Oh, actually, nope. And I also worked on filling in like this like tree stuff here. So yeah, so that's Winter by the Cross-Eyed Cricut collection. And I did, this was a new start this year. Actually, I started it on 112. And I did 1,925. So actually I did all of that this year. I thought that maybe I started that last year, but Notion says that I started it on 112 with 2025. So that's what we're gonna go with. Next is a new start for sure. This is Pricks Everywhere. Let me go ahead and pull up my tablet so I can show y'all what it looks like. Jade the 310 Stitcher and I are doing this one. Actually, I saw it on her channel and immediately was like, I need that. This is a Sunflower Stitches pattern. That's what it's gonna look like when it's done. Yeah, I love it. I love all of my projects except for that one. And I love, like I said, I love it in its own right. So this one is a new start. This one was started on February 16th. And I did 6,394 stitches. So I did most, obviously you see right there. I had to frog that and I couldn't get it to line up, and I just said, I'm done and I want to stitch something else. So I came back up to the top. And so I stitched, well, I mean, I stitched all of this this year, obviously. So I'm kind of stitching up here and like the lighter cream color. I did some white on white. And then this is like that top corner of that card. Also a lot of confetti in this one. I'm just looking forward into getting into some of the other brighter, funner colors. So yeah, that is Pricks Everywhere. My pile is getting smaller, y'all. It's getting smaller. This one is in another one of Deb Walker's bags. Super fun. She quilts them all. I don't know if y'all can see all that, but like she hand quilts all of these. So, yeah, if you can get your hands on one of her bags, they're awesome. So this is Poltergeist Pirates. This is by Glendon Place. That's what it will look like when it's done. Slide that back in there. I'm using all of the called for on this as well, all the DMC. I have all of the treasure braid. I have all of the fancy treasures and all of the things. I'm stitching it on the called for fabric, which is Bang. It's a casual, I think it's a casual linen, and it's a 28 count, and I'm stitching it 2/2 10 stitch or full across with my troll needle minder. Like I said, I'm a kid from the 90s. I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. So when that came out for market, I had to have it because I had the creepy little things. So yeah, this is all the further that I am on this one. I do love stitching on this one, and actually, hold on, I'm going to show y'all. So they recommend back stitching this, and I'm sure y'all watch Jen, so she's already mentioned this, but so they recommend back stitching this as you go. And y'all, I know I said I hate back stitching, and I do, but this actually is not bad to back stitch on. So it hasn't been terrible, and I love the detail that it adds. So yeah, so that is Poltergeist Pirates. And I'm just haphazardly shoving this back into the bag and putting it down there. And for Poltergeist Pirates, I did 1,815 on that this year. Next up is going to be Dumbledore's Library. This is by the Cross Stitch Studio. Again, really beat up. I should probably take a number from all of my Fluss Tube friends and just either just use the tablet or laminate these. I don't know. That will be future me to worry about. And this one, sorry, crinkles because the paper's now folded and messed up on that. Ta-da! So this one, you can kind of see I did do some of the other colors, but this one does bode well to do all of the 939 first. So as you can see, that is the path that I have chosen. So this has a lot of 939, which is why I got the cone of 939. This is done for sure on a 32 count, and I'm doing it 1/1 full cross. And sorry, it's gonna be crinkles because I gotta get this paper back in here. Yeah, so another Grand Tote bag. And that one this year I did a total of 4,273 stitches. Next up is another Grand Tote bag. I used to do their monthly club, and then I realized I was getting way too many bags. And I know, and I actually have a bunch of bags still kind of hanging out. And so I just was like, oh, okay, we need to stop. This is on, I want to say this is on a 28 count Picture This Plus. I think it's called Beanstalk. I know it's Beanstalk. I do know that much. This is the Deadly Aquarium Sal. This was, again, a Sal from a couple years ago from Lola Crow. I'm doing this 1/1 full cross with all the called for DMC. I filled in like some stuff here this year, and then I filled in this, started to fill in that sign. So I will show you what that will look like when it's done. I'm sure many of you already know what it looks like when it's done. Let's see, there it is. There it is. And for that one, this year I did 596 stitches. Again, was not my priority. My priority was getting Treasures of the Sea completed, which I did. And then I had one other goal this year that I will be getting to shortly. And I'll talk more about that. But yeah, so only 596. My goal was to touch everything before coming back here, so got that done. Even if it wasn't a lot of progress. Next up is going to be Honeymoon Sunset, aka so I am still working in Satan's Toilet Brush, which is the tree. If y'all are living under a rock and haven't watched Jen the Caffeinated Crafter, go check her out. She's been focusing on this and got this to 50% this year. And she has progress in all 4 corners and is now kind of like working towards the middle, and is like picking and choosing. So hers, I mean, I think she's got like this done, and yeah, it looks gorgeous. She's got the stupid tree done. I love this project. I also am considering a couple of different things on this one. So I, again, started this on a 32 count, even weave, easy guide. And I started it 2/110 stitch because I was like, oh, the coverage will be great. And this is a 32 count. This is how big that piece of fabric is on a 32 count. It's huge. So I was like, I don't really want to make a king size quilt for anything smaller. So I'm going to do it on 32 and we're going to pull through. I have since changed. I've changed it to 1/1 full cross, because of the confetti. It's just too much. Like I get it. I know why Betsy. So this is from, the Cross Stitch Studio. This is Abraham Hunter. I think it is. But it's, look at all of those color changes. It's a lot, and it's ninja stitches, and it's all like, it's a lot. So I changed and I went with 1/1 full cross. I'm still in debate on this one. I'm still in debate on if I put it onto bigger fabric. So if I put it maybe on a 28 1/1 full cross, I will say my go-to is typically a 25 count at this point. I can see it without magnification if I want to travel with it. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of stitches in it. What do you think? What would you do? Would you keep going? Would you just keep going with the 1/1 and see how it goes? 1/1 seems to be working okay. And I know in hindsight, like once you're not gonna, when it's on the wall, you're not gonna be able to tell that I've changed my mind a million times on this, on how I'm gonna stitch it. To try to figure out how to shove this back in here. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So that one got a total of 2,426 stitches this year. That's between full cross and 10 stitch. So we'll do this one. So this was been my other kind of focus piece this year, after I finished Treasures of the Sea. This is my actual oldest Haid. Treasures of the Sea was my second oldest. I started this one when I first found Haid several years ago, 5 years ago, probably. And at that time, my daughter was, well, she's going to be 16 in a couple weeks. So she was 11, maybe even 10. And so she loved like horses and purple. And I was like, oh, and of course, me being new to hate at that point in time, the stitch counts didn't really make much sense to me. And so I had no idea, like we were picking out patterns and I had no idea how big these things were. So go to the stitching shop here in Denver and get fabric, and it's my first time on 25, and I'm just like kidding it up, and I get the fabric and I'm like, oh, what did I get myself into? So yeah. So this is what it's gonna, this is Chimera Black Rose Max Color. This is artwork by Lori Prindle, charted by Hade. It is 525 by 477. Mind you, now it is definitely not my biggest piece. You'll see coming up, I have a couple of supersize Max Colors by Amy Stewart. So obviously not my biggest. However, it is still one that I want to get done for her. So yeah, that is what it is going to look like when it's done. So I'm going to tell you. So I finished Treasures, I think I want to say mid-October. And when I picked up Chimera, it was only at maybe 20%, maybe a little bit more than 20%. So since October, November, December, about 2.5 months, my goal for the end of the year, which was very lofty, I feel like was to get it to 40%, because my goal for next year, well, this isn't a plans video, but my goal for next year is to have it finished by the end of the year. And so I stitched away on this like crazy. And last night I pushed and ended up getting 40%. So I'm actually going to open up my markup really quick. Because I just want to get accurate stats of where we are. So yeah, so ta-da! I did it. 40.11%. I am a total of 100,436 stitches. In order next year to get this finished. And right now, I don't know if you saw that, but it says that my estimated completion date, if I continue to stitch the way that I am at about 400, this is 482 stitches per day average. I'm estimated to finish this on November 8th, 2026. Notion says I need to do like 29,000 stitches a week. I mean, I have a lot of vacation time and whatnot, so I guess we'll see where we go. I mean, between the last 2 days, I've stitched over 2,000 stitches on it, so we'll see. But yeah, so I still have 149,989 stitches to go. This is a total of 250,425. This actually is way bigger than what Treasures of the Sea was. Treasures of the Sea, let's just for comparison sake, and sorry if you hear that, my cat is on one of my papers. So if you hear crinkling, that's her fault. And she's now attacking one of my bags. So, Treasures of the Sea was 192,150. So this is almost double the size. And on Treasures this year, I didn't tell y'all that. So on Treasures this year, I did a total of 94,167 to complete that. I was about halfway done last year. So considering I did 205,000 stitches this year, it's about, yeah, I mean, I have what? I just said 150,000 to go on that. I think it's doable. So without further ado, ta-da! Let me see if I can get a little bit closer and get her all in here. You can see her face is coming in. There she is. This is stitched on 25 count. This is 1/1 full cross. And she's so pretty. I just pulled her out of the Q-snap before I came downstairs to record, so I did not center her very well. I actually think she's supposed to go this way, to be 100% honest with you. And that but we're gonna have enough room. So I just, yeah, I think I'm gonna end up having extra on the bottom. And I didn't leave myself a lot of space over here on this margin. And since I, again, stitch in Q-snap, it's not very fun when I get over there, but it'll fit. And if I need to add some extra fabric or something for framing, we'll do that. So that's my focus piece for next year. And y'all will be seeing her a lot. Next project that I'm going to show you also was a new start this year because I finished Castle. So for the Fabulous House series, my goal was just to see how far I could get on how many houses I could get completed. So I was doing the leap year Sal, which started I think 2 years ago. And so I've done 2 of the houses so far. This is the 3rd one. So I started this one in October because, you know, Halloween. This is, I don't remember which one this one. Oh, number 11. So there is one in the series that I probably won't stitch, which is the Hobbit house. That one just hasn't called me. It was number 3. We ended up getting the Tudor house, I think, at the very end as like a bonus. So I think because I have all of the fabric cut already for all 12, I think I'm just gonna sub that one whenever I get to it. I'm doing this without the called for any fancy flosses. Does this one have any specialty flosses? This one does. This has Stormy Night by Classic Colorworks. So I do have that. So here's the little start that I have on this one. I did use this as I did have a counter for this one when I was stitching on it because I was stitching it at home and not on the go. And so this one, I have 309 stitches on it. So yeah, this is again that 40 count prehistoric linen by Fox and Rabbit. We'll just keep picking away at that one. I only have a couple more to show you. This one is also in a Grand Toten bag. Sorry, there's Velcro on this. This one is, I just call it the Bee by Lorna Lane. This is what it's gonna look like when it's done. And little pieces of thread everywhere. I did the kit, so this is all the kit stuff. This is a 28 count easy guide. I'm stitching it 1/1 full cross, and that is where we are. I didn't do much on this year. I don't know why. I mean, it's pretty enough. I only did 500 stitches on that one this year, so we'll see where we get next year, and see if it comes out into a consistent rotation or not. This one is one of my Supersize Max colors. This is US Traveler Bookshelf. Let me go ahead and pull it up on my tablet so you can see what it looks like. I'll just open it in here. Just opening it in markup since it's readily available. Maybe. Talk amongst yourselves. Pictures. this is what it will look like when it's done. I love this one. This one, the reason why I was drawn to it primarily, right there, smack in the middle, the blue one, is the Great Lakes. And I grew up in Michigan. That's home for me. I mean, Colorado's home for me, but like that's home away from home. It has Chicago on here, like facing outward. It also has the Colorado Rockies here, and Texas. And so like those are the places that kind of I spent the most time in. I lived in Texas for 2 years before coming out here. And it's just a lot of my favorite places are the books that are facing out. So I was like, I need to stitch that. And I mean, it's in Amy. I mean, go big or go home, right? So this is started by Heaven and Earth Designs. It's by Amy Stewart. Like I said, it's the supersize max color. And that's all the further I am. This is on a 32 count. It's 1/1. So this one we added, let's see, 2019 stitches total to it this year. So I just kept working, I think, honestly, just working in here on, actually, no, I know I did. I've worked on bringing this in and filling in this side of the bookshelf. So, because this also, as you can see, is a lot of confetti. So I know for a fact that I worked in filling in this stuff here. Also with this one, because of the confetti and stuff, I changed my needles. I am using Pony Brand needle on these, and a 28 count makes it so much easier. I was hating it at first, and then changed my needle, and it makes all the world of difference. So, and then I have, I think, only 3 more to show you all. We're flying through this. This is my other Supersize Max color by Amy Stewart. This is Amazing Animal Kingdom. By far probably one of my top projects. I almost just deleted it instead of opening it. That would have been really bad. This was a new start this year. I started it on 1/1, so this was my new year, new start. And Tori's getting restless. Let me go ahead and pull up the picture. I know there's other people working on this. I think Siski Stitches is working on it. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people working on it, but ta-da, that's what it'll look like when it's done. Try not to drop my tablet, get it all in the picture. Okay. Jade and I are working on this one also. And this is on a 32 count. This is on a 32 count easy guide. Lugana. I'm stitching it 1/1 full cross because I learned my lesson. By this time I learned that 32 2/1 is not my jam. Sometimes even 1/1's a little tight, but we get there. So I don't know if y'all can see, but do you see the gorilla face? Gorilla face is back. Yeah, so I've got a couple of the books done. I did start doing this on a diagonal, you can see, and now I'm just winging it. I'm just going wherever. My goal is to fill in that gorilla because I really want to see that gorilla. So yeah, I love this pattern because it's like you just get things immediately. Like it's like bam, bird, bam, gorilla. And so I love it. I love that you can see the fruits of your labor immediately. Last 2 projects I have for y'all. We'll do this one. This one I do have a picture of. This one is the Vote As If Sal by Notorious Needle. 2024. So this was last year. This is what it will look like when it's done. It says, vote as if your skin is not white. Parents need medical care. Friend is a missing indigenous woman. Spouse is an immigrant. Land is on fire. Son is transgender. House is flooded. Sister is a victim of gun violence. Brother is gay. Water is unsafe. Daughter is a sexual assault survivor. Pregnancy is not viable. Ancestors died for it. Life depends on it. Not gonna get into any politics, but I love this pattern. I saw it, a friend of mine was stitching it, and I was like, I need to have that. This is a 32 count linen gray magic from Bestitch Me. This was one of her like Friday night fight nights that I won. I love this fabric so much that I accidentally and didn't really notice that I actually put Me Please on, like, I don't know, 3 pieces of this, which is fine because I love it. And so when it came, I was actually really, really happy about it. So that is all the further. So I just was kind of taking colors and running it on the diagonal as it was showing up. So this one got a total of, oh my gosh, pause, because again, I didn't tell you how many stitches that I have completed on Amazing Animal Kingdom. I just noticed. Amazing Animal Kingdom got 6,882 stitches this year. That's how you know I like it, because it got quite a lot. I actually was trying to get it to 1%. Did not make it. It's at 0.9%. Wah, wah, wah. I think I'm like, I don't know, 650 stitches away. I probably could have done it today, but we did a girls' day with my daughter. So, any hoodles. Back to this one. So vote as if Sal. How many stitches did we get on you? 1,333. It's not that I don't love it. I do. I just have so many other projects that I really wanted to work on, and so I feel like that some of these ones that I didn't get a lot of work on but are not full coverage and are a little bit smaller, I could probably get them done if I really sat down and focused on it this year. And maybe I will. I don't know. I haven't set plans. I will come back with a plans video probably within the next couple of days. But I have no big plans other than finishing Chimera. So, yeah. So that's that one. And then my very, very last project to show you all. We've come to the end. Sorry, I have Q-snaps in here, so everything's kind of rattling and rolling. This is my LGBTQ Progress Pride flag. This is a Quaker from Veasters. So a few years ago, everybody was doing the Veasters flags. Y'all, if you haven't started one of her patterns and you want to, I highly recommend it. This one is so much fun. I actually am considering restitching this again for my cousin. So it is 410 stitches by wide by 210 high, and I am doing this on a 20, I want to say this is a 28 count. It's just a white Lugana, porcelain Lugana. I think it's antique white is actually what it's called on 123 stitch. I would order this fabric every day, all day. The holes are easy to see. Hold on, I don't know. I'm just gonna show you guys. I actually take with me as my travel piece because it is, I don't know if you can see them. It is so easy to see this, and it's so soft, and it's so easy to work on. Yeah, I would do this every day. I would stitch on this fabric every day. So yeah, so this is what it looks like when it's done. I've taken this all over the world. I worked on it at Stitch North a couple years ago in Canada. I took this with me to Queen City in North Carolina. I took this on our cruise when we went on our cruise in March. So this thing has been to Belize, it's been to Honduras, it's been to Mexico, it's been to New Orleans. Yeah, anytime we go on a trip, this is usually what I bring with me because it's so easy. And I can just grab like a color because you can see I'm kind of color completing right now. So I've completed all of kind of like the gray, the pink, the blue, and now I'm working on kind of the brown and the black at the same time. So I'm working on kind of bringing them both down at the same time. Yeah, these blocks go so fast. to stitch, and you just don't even realize it. Like, you don't even realize that you're just like plowing through stitches. So I would like to finish this year, but I feel like that's, again, a kind of lofty goal. But we'll see. Let me just fold it, put it back in the bag. Cat's being crazy. Just seeing if there was anything hiding in this bag, because I've got multiple projects in it, but I don't think so. All right, y'all. On this one, let's see my flag. I did 6,673 stitches on that this year. So that is it. I had 7 new starts, so it's a total of 30 whips. This year I had the 4 finishes, and then if I get rid of that Enchanted Quaker, that brings me down to 25 whips. I will come back with planned video. Maybe I'll record it yet tonight. We'll see. I'm gonna go see what my family's up to. We only have my son tonight. My daughter has left us for the 2nd year in a row to go hang out with her friends. Apparently nobody wants to hang out with moms at 15, almost 16. So yeah, if you're just here for the stitching, I'm gonna do a quick life update here at the end. But if you're just here for the stitching and the whip parade, I just want to say thank you for hanging out with me for the last hour and 15 minutes or so, and for making it through. I hope that you come back. I hope that you were able to find something that you like. If this is your first time on my channel, thank you so much for coming by and spending some time with me. I know that there are so many end of year whip parades right now. I have sat down and watched several myself. It's my favorite time of year. I actually end up taking time off from work just to be able to sit and stitch and watch everybody's whip parades and maybe be enabled a little. So again, Happy New Year. It is New Year's Eve. And so I hope that the new year brings everyone happiness and peace and everything that they want it to be. And so yeah, if that is all that you are here for, I will see you hopefully on my next regular update, which will probably be in about 2 weeks, since you just saw all of my projects. If you are still continuing on, it's just a quick life update. So again, I've been off since Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, I set myself up that Christmas Eve. I was working, but it was a really easy day. I was just checking emails and not doing a whole lot, sitting on the couch stitching and popping in every once in a while. But yeah, I always try to take time off between Christmas and New Year if it works for my team. We always have to like email my boss several weeks before Christmas, and there's 6 of us, so luckily I was able to get it off this year, and I don't go back until the 5th. And so it's a nice little reset. And then I have some vacation coming up again with the family in March. We're going to New York with the kids for their 16th. So our kids are twins. We share custody with my wife's ex, so the kids' birth mom. Yeah, so they, for 16, asked to go, if we would take them to New York and to New York City. We go to New York all the time. We go to Buffalo at least once a year usually. But they want to go to New York City. I've been to New York City once. Jess used to travel to New York City all the time for work. So I love it, and I'm excited to share that with them. We have a little bit of a side quest set up, but that's a secret and a surprise for them. So I probably won't talk more about that until we get closer, just in case for some reason they decide to watch Mom on FlossTube, which I doubt. But you never know, and I don't want to ruin anything for them. So, yeah. They are taking their driver's test. So like I said, they're going to be 16 in a couple weeks. I am feeling a little bittersweet because I am the one who primarily is mom taxi for them. So especially to and from school. Jess will usually do our son's fencing stuff, and then my daughter decided to take up swim this season. So we've been tag teaming a lot. But I primarily am the person over the last 9 years that I've been in their life, have been mom taxi, taking them to and from school because we don't live in district. And well, we live in district, but we don't live in, we did school of choice. So they go to a high school that's a little bit further away from us. And it was a really, really shocking realization that my mom taxi days are almost done. Now, mind you, it's bittersweet because it's so annoying getting up on my days off because I don't work on Fridays and having to take the kids to school at like 7 a.m. when I could really sleep in. And it just gets complicated because like my workday technically doesn't end until 6, and then my wife also is working, and so it's just always trying to figure out like who's getting the kids and like scheduling my client stuff around their stuff if possible, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and all those things. But it's also like realizing that my kids are getting older, and they're getting independence, and it's terrifying. So if anybody has driving teens out there, let me know how it went, because I'm terrified. We did Life 360 on their phones this weekend. They're not happy about it at all. Especially my daughter is like, stop stalking me. But we're not stalking her. We just really told her that we just want to make sure that she gets places safely. And that she's where she needs to be. Yeah, so that's kind of it for life. No big plans for tonight. It's just kind of hanging out. Like I said, it's been really dry in Colorado. So I'm just really hoping that my neighbors don't light the place on fire. Would be great. And I will see you guys in probably my plans video. I really do think I'm going to come back maybe tomorrow for a plans video. Because I do have some plans. So, wherever you are in the world, again, Happy New Year. I hope that you all are getting to spend time with family, gearing up to go back to work if you took time off, and had a great holiday season. And I will see you guys in a couple of weeks for my next regular FlossTube update, and I will see y'all then. Bye.